Okay, so y'all getting ready?
Um, D, wait,
What?
before I get to that, hold on. Coming up on the show around the half-hour mark, we have our question of the day, which is, which diagnoses makes us normal? Meaning, there is a diagnosis. I'm switching too because I can't. Yeah. There's a diagnosis for everyone. And what I was thinking about is that you and I, we've talked about, a couple of weeks ago, I talked about, my male postpartum depression in the form of anxiety, a diagnosis I myself created, but it's real. And I know that there are men who experience it. D, you've talked about your ADHD, but I was thinking about it that there's a couple of people in this studio who act like there's nothing wrong with them, and we're going to find out what's wrong with them.
Exactly.
So, in going through the diagnoses, I was thinking about this. There's the stigma around mental health that, if you go to therapy, it means that you are insane or whatever the case may be. Whatever you just did, you just made. No, it's still not right though. And so to address that stigma.
Hello? I don't hear anything. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it. It's the engineers.
We're having a technical difficulty.
No, we're not having a technical
difficulty. The microphone
difficulty.
is even on because I can't. Okay.
Say something.
Say something.
Testing. It is not on.
It's on.
Let's see, this is your wife.
You're actually going over.
Let me switch.
Hello?
No.
JP and Stacy D in the house.
Boy, they pull you out here. Lord, I don't believe. Facebook.
Okay, well, let's come up, JP. I'll keep going.
Okay. I am getting messages that we cannot be seen, but I don't think we can be heard.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Oh, they were looking at your page.
The microphone is not on. That's the messages I'm getting.
It don't matter what headphone you put on, the microphone's not working. Oh, yes, on Facebook. I don't know what they're talking about. All right, let's come on and do this.
Okay, well, something's not on, though, because all I hear is static in here.
Well, take them off.
Okay.
What would
So,
you do without the D?
Without the D. Well, these technical difficulties.
They're going to get better in the third year.
Just keep
You
going.
think so?
Yeah.
Okay. In addressing the stigma around mental health, what I'm wanting everyone to be aware of is that every person has experienced a mental health diagnosis over the course of your life. Every person, and that actually is what makes you a normal person. And so
That's the normal part. That everybody got a little crazy in them.
that's one way to look at it. I have some clients whose family members are making negative statements and judging them because they are seeing a therapist, because they take meds, or because they have a diagnosis. And what I have been explaining to them is that these family members have all met the criteria for a diagnosis over the course of their lives.
And they're real crazy because they don't have enough sense to try to seek some help.
Right. And so, but there are many diagnoses that actually make you a normal person. If you haven't experienced them, then it is something wrong with you. Okay. And so, when it comes to mental health diagnoses, they do not mean that you are mentally ill. They are just a description of a situation.
Exactly. Show them the
that
Bible.
you are experiencing.
Show them the Bible.
Yes.
The Bible basically has
The DSM.
anything and everything. There is a reason behind it.
Yes, and this is. Do you notice anything different? Can you all see? Is this on camera? This is the latest. The DSM-5 TR text revision. Okay, and so because I always bring the DSM up in here, but this one is not purple. This one is blue. This is the latest one, and so we're gonna roll through that. So that's coming up as the question of the day. But before we get to that, last week we answered a question about how do you fire friends and family members from your company, and the D came up with a great idea: have HR do it. But an HR person sent a message. One of our viewers, or one of our VIVs, very important viewers, and what she was saying is that is actually not how it's supposed to go. Her statement is, HR does not fire people. It is the responsibility of leadership to convey terminations. And so what she was saying is that there is someone you can have in your company to handle that. It's the hiring agent.
HR hires.
HR is the front line in the hiring process, helping to attract, recruit, and interview the most qualified people. HR provides guidance about the process. However, the hiring manager has the final word on who gets the job. Same thing for firing. HR provides guidance on termination actions, helping to minimize risk to both the company and the employee. So you need them for liability reasons. But the manager has the responsibility for executing the termination, the hiring manager. Now, I hear what she's saying, but when we were at the mental health center,
When I got fired from the mental health center,
who did it? HR. And people would go to HR and disappear. They did, and so I was thinking, I know HR did
maybe
that.
it's on different companies or something.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, which I knew I was getting fired though.
And when my wife, who worked at the center for 15 years, she always complained about
she was a
HR
manager.
that was blocking her from firing people. Because there would be people who needed to be terminated and HR would block it. And so I think that it depends on the company. So the way you doing it, D, is I need HR to be handling this business. And for my group practice, I'm going to have an HR person handle that business.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So that's that. D, what's your check-in for today?
Oh, well, I got a whole lot of check-ins. Okay, first of all, you know, we have had so many school shootings in the last 12 months, 24 months, 18 months, and everyone know how that really, really totally gets underneath my skin. Well, what day was that? Yeah, my grandsons, was that Monday or Tuesday? Earlier this week, my grandsons had not a school shooting, but one of the students did a real bad post and said he was gonna,
they go to that school.
Yes.
See, you didn't say that part.
You didn't see the part that I said,
You-
they're gonna mess with the wrong school now?
Yeah, I saw that, but you didn't say because my grandkids are there.
Yeah, and it was very, it was very emotional for me when it hit that close to home.
Yes.
I mean, when it really hits that close to home, that which I every morning anyway, I pray over my grandchildren, my great grandchildren. So I want that generational prayers. And
For grandkids that ain't even born.
not
yet.
even thought of.
Pray over them too.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I like called my grandsons. They was like, "Honey, it's not that bad." And they were just minimizing it because I was literally like in tears, and I had them on the phone, and I was praying over them. And honey, it's not that bad. Honey, it's not that bad.
But y'all kept them home.
Yeah. Well, no. One went to school and one didn't because he's a wrestler and he's on the verge of, like, in his white wrestling class, he's like #1 in the state. And he didn't.
So it's gonna take more than a shooter for him to miss school.
He said it was done 2 years ago.
What was done 2 years ago?
The post. And it's a repost.
What?
He said it's just a repost. He was minimizing it because he really wanted to go to school. The other twin was like, wake me up when it's time for lunch.
But if it was a repost, I can understand where he was coming from. He's like, this is old. It's not current.
Well, a lot of people.
That shooter has graduated and went to college and is threatening to shoot up their college.
We don't know. But a lot of African American students did stay home, which is not that many because it is a Catholic school.
Yeah, ain't but a handful.
Ain't but a handful.
That school's around the corner from my house.
Exactly.
I ain't seen any black kids coming in or going to or from that school.
It's more than what it used to be.
With your grandbabies, I ain't seen them.
Yeah, they get dropped off. Well, they finna start driving in the next week or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And one went to school and one didn't. He said it was over 60 police officers, like, just walking the campus, which I was very proud of that. Hey, my hat's off to KCKPD, because they came out and showed out. But,
Okay.
yeah. So then, on another note, my granddaughter, because yesterday was a snow day. Like, literally, I did not get on the computer. It was a snow day.
Kicked it.
So my granddaughter and I, we kicked it, and she's like, "Honey, I want you to come and watch this story with me." And I was like, "Watch what?" Because she likes watching all these vampire devilish movies that I don't watch. And I get on her mother about letting her watch those type of movies.
Why is everything devilish, though?
Vampires.
That is, vampires, who says that that's
did.
devilish? There are no vampires in the Bible.
Exactly.
What is she watching?
Being a devil.
Because you do realize most of the vampires are the heroes in these stories.
I'm not doing that with you today, JP. So anyway, I was like, we're not watching no vampire, no wolf stories. We're not doing none of that.
She can't watch a werewolf either.
No.
Oh, poor baby. What was the famous vampire movie? There was a series of.
I have no idea.
I'll think of it, but go ahead.
Okay. So she had me watching The Parent Test.
Never heard of it.
Oh, you need to watch it.
And I know my vampires. Is this a good one?
It wasn't no vampires in it at all, JP.
Oh, okay.
It was no vampires.
Oh, okay.
It was called The Parent Test. And it was 12. Goodness, what we gonna do?
I thought you was
But
gonna give me. I thought I was gonna get some more vampires to be able to watch.
No. The Parent Test. And it was in
Okay.
regards to 4 groups of parents. And they all had a certain type of parenting that they instilled in their home. Like, it was one, like the negotiator, freestyle, natural, the discipline, strict. It was 12 different groups of parents. And it was a
Is this a TV show or a movie?
it's a TV show.
Like fiction or a reality show?
Basically, I guess it's reality.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
it's called the Parent Test, and it's 12 groups of parents, and there are 2 that are single parents, and the other 10 parents are couples, same sex.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gay black man. It's a straight Hispanic woman. She's by herself,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same sex marriage there. And it's like 3 Asian couples,
Mm-hmm.
one black, one biracial couple. It's like
Okay.
it's the whole melting pot.
Right. They covered all the bases.
Yeah, they cover all the bases, and everyone have their own type of techniques how
Parenting
they
approach.
parenting. Yeah.
And it was 4 different parenting approaches.
No, it's 12.
Oh.
It was 12 couples. It's 12 parents, and it's 12
Okay.
of them that they do different parenting.
I wish you would have wrote down the parenting approaches.
I
'Cause
just try to
that's-
give you some.
Because that's... Okay, wait. Just keep going. Because
Okay.
I'm wondering whose approach was the most effective. Because we've talked about old school versus new school.
And I was thinking about that when
Mhm.
because I was texting you when I was watching it. I was like, you need to watch this. Because they didn't have an old school or new school.
Well, they broke it down further.
Exactly. Like I said, it was the natural, and they would do different. What would they do? They would do different tests on the children to see how would they respond to the test to see, because this is your parenting style. So let's see about this, okay? So basically, one of the tests, and I was like crying. I have really become a punk in my 50s.
Really?
Yes, one of the tests were it was a stranger came to the door. They said they were the gas company or the light company or the water company, and they knocked on the door and they was trying to see which children would get up and let these strangers in the home, and their parents were not there, and they had a hidden camera. I literally was crying because these are things that literally do happen, and
Yes.
children get snatched.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And this is an ongoing... Comedians always talk about getting in trouble as kids because they was told, don't you open that door for nobody, and they let their grandma in and get in trouble.
Get in trouble.
Even though it's grandma.
Don't let nobody in my house.
Don't let nobody in my house.
I remember that one too. Yeah.
Yes.
And it was so funny because the what was it? The freestyle parents. Guess what they did? Their kids laid up there and kept on watching their on TV, and they kept knocking and kept knocking and kept knocking, and then the middle child got up. Mom, Dad, somebody at the door. Are you gonna come and answer the door? But they did not go to that door.
Okay.
But
Freestyle.
guess who children answered the door? Routine and strict.
Routine. Describe strict.
They're teaching them everything except for stranger danger.
They didn't cover that base. What is routine parenting?
Routine parenting is you come home, you take your shoes off here, you hang up your coat there, you come to the door. You come in, you start your homework, you get points if you've done this, if you've done that. Like you in a straight routine. We're eating dinner at 5. You're going to sleep at 8, not 8:01, but 8 o'clock. Your clothes is there. Your clothes is there. Your shoes. The routine was the two. It was the same sex. It was 2 men. It was same sex, and they did routine, and they did not.
That
believe
sounds strict though.
No, you would. I was up in there like, oh my God.
Cause I'm a little routine.
We all have to have a little bit of each of all 12 of those. Like the helicopter. It was the
That's
helicopter.
the healthiest parenting. A
Exactly,
little bit of all of them.
Because my granddaughter was trying to pull it out of me about, how did you do mommy? I said, once you ask your mommy. She comes for me. And then I had to okay, she's not grown. She's your granddaughter.
Oh my goodness.
Then I had to apologize. Like, no, baby. Honey didn't mean it like that. And she's laughing. Because she just does it to get underneath my skin. But yeah, so there was a helicopter. You know what that is?
Yeah, the helicopter pair. They want to see all, be all. They are overly protective.
Exactly. Exactly. And the strict was almost like routine. It was like really, really funny how the strict was. Strict was, you really need to watch it. The strict was the ones that she was 6 years old and she was a concert violinist, and she's 6 years old, but she's in middle school.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. So she's
only one
gifted.
child. Yeah.
She's gifted.
It was one child.
Why are
And
they so strict with her?
They're Asian also.
That's the gifted part. Why are they so strict with her? Is that
Because
a
that's how-
cultural thing
I thought it was a cultural
in
thing.
Asian families?
But it was 2 other cultural families there, and they did. Oh, and they also whoop. They do spankings.
The Asian couple did.
That one Asian couple, the one that was strict, they did. They did whoopings.
I'm glad they
Spankings.
showed somebody else giving whoopings besides black people.
It was, like I said, it was 12 couples on there, and I think it was 8 that said that they do spankings.
It is believed our people have a negative stereotype of whooping, but after 2 decades of seeing kids referred by social services, everybody else is whooping too. Okay, so the Asian family was whooping.
And she's only 6 years old.
Why are they whooping her? She's
Because
6.
because it's things that she doesn't want to do. Like, she does not want to do math problems for 3 hours.
But she's gifted. She probably doesn't need to do math problems for 3 hours.
But
She
they have
already
her
knows the
doing-
problems after 30
They have
minutes.
it. Then she has to practice her violin for 2 hours.
Well, she's a
She's
concert.
6 years old.
She's a concert
She's
violinist.
6 years old.
That's a lot, but that's probably why she is performing on that level with the violin. I don't
And
understand.
she's in middle school.
I don't
At
understand
6 years old.
making a gifted kid study a subject for 3 hours if they don't need to. That's
Maybe
overly
they're-
strict. And
they
they're
might
whooping
have
her at 6?
Yeah, she's getting spankings. Yeah.
For what? Because she doesn't want to spend 3 hours studying?
And guess what she did? Hey, I'm from the gas company. I think you have a gas leak. 6 years old.
She opened the door.
Come on in. I don't know where mommy and daddy, but they're somewhere here in the house.
Oh, bless her.
Because they have taught so much of those other things.
They're not teaching life skills
Exactly.
because they are overly focused.
And that
Well, I
was
shouldn't
also
say overly focused on
and
academics,
that was also
but
routine.
The routine parents were excessively focused on academics and
The
didn't
routine.
teach.
No, they was focused on the routine and academics because they had to do all their homework and everything. But all of them was pretty good on academics, except for the freestyle. They lived in an RV. They get homeschooled, and wherever it's time to stop is where they'll stop and cook dinner together. They're very family oriented, though. It was very family oriented. They do not spank. They had 4 or 5 children. I was really want to know, where y'all get your money?
These are extremes. As I hear you run down the list, I see myself and my wife in a few of these parenting approaches.
Yes. It takes
'Cause-
all of them to be a great parent.
Right. Because we're routine, although I'm a little more flexible with the routine.
We
Because,
talked about that in the past couple of weeks.
right, because, like, at bedtime, Nadine's like, they need to be in bed on time. Not our baby, because she ain't in school yet. But our boys, when they were in school, I'm like,
Can't wait
so
till-
what
I
if they
can't
go to
wait till
bed
August
10
starts.
minutes late, 15 minutes late, like, whatever. She didn't play that. But I'm also a little bit of helicopter because I didn't allow my boys to.
Go
I
to
didn't
other
allow them to
people's
spend the
house,
night at
spend
people's house, and
I
my
didn't do that
son
either.
didn't let the police in. The
Exactly.
police was knocking on our door, and he was calling me and saying, "It's a police officer out front, and you said don't open this door for anybody." And I meant anybody, including the police, because you know
They don't
Popo-
pay no bills.
well, I'm not going to say what the proposal do, but no. And so this is interesting. I'm going to have to watch it
You're gonna have to watch it.
because I'm
And it's a psychologist that's over it. Doctor or somebody.
working with these parents to help them to not be overly
Mhm.
to the extreme of
And
any
then-
parenting approach.
Then there's a high achiever. And he was a black gay male. He had 1 son.
Mm-hmm.
And I really felt him. I really
Now he was a
feel him.
single parent.
He was a single parent.
Okay.
With a male. He had a son.
Mm-hmm.
And I really felt his approach. And then my daughter's like, that's mama right there. But it really was everything because I was real big about you can do whatever you want to do. But whatever you start, you're going to finish.
Right, your activities.
Period.
Right,
I don't
right.
care what it is, period. Just
Mhm.
because you're in the middle and it start getting tough and you're like, I'm ready to quit. No, you're not.
Right.
You're gonna finish it.
Right.
And basically, um, the high achiever father was just like, I'm getting my son ready for America, for the world, because he's gonna be a black male. And there are things that he's gonna have to be ready for, and I want him to be overly and exceptionally ready because we do have to work hard. You're
Yeah.
not letting him be a child. I told my granddaughter, black little boys are getting killed at 8 and 9.
Yeah. And so, and really, my wife does better at that part than I do. That's an area I have to work on.
The high achievement? Really?
No, the making them finish something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Nadine, like with the boys, like, because we, karate practice or this or football or swimming, they did all kind of
Tired.
stuff. And so when they like, I ain't really feeling this anymore. I'm like,
Okay.
they ain't feeling it. Like last week at soccer practice, Sashi Boo was like, I'm not in the mood for this. I'm not feeling it. So she went somewhere else on the soccer field and did her own thing. And the parents are, she's in the class where the parents are supposed to sit back and chill. Don't be coming out on the field, redirecting your kids. Let the coaches handle them. So we standing behind the barrier doing hand signals. Get over there to the coach. Get over there and play soccer. And she's looking at us like, and so I was, and he's messing with, and because you done gave me ADHD, he's messing with mine too. And so I was like, she's not feeling it. I didn't say why are we continue to make her come, but I was kind of starting to think, if she decides she don't like it, how many soccer practices we coming to?
Over with.
And Nadine immediately said, well, the season is over and da-da-da-da-da, so that's when you will try out a different activity. And I was like, all right. Make my baby suffer through. But we do need to teach our kids, you need to be able to commit to something. And when you commit to something, you can't let down the team. You need to do it all the way to completion. And that makes them really think about it before they go running out and saying, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with it. It's just something that I have to work on following through on it. But fortunately, Nadine does a good job of saying, if you start this mess, you're going to finish this mess. That's what you're going to do.
So let me tell
out.
you about the activity that was with the high achiever. They had to do a rock climbing
Wall.
and then they hit it. Okay, and those are high walls.
Yeah.
So the high achiever, he was excited to go. He was very excited, little boy. His name is Elon or something like that. He was very excited to go. He was like, oh wow, we're gonna do rock climbing. So in the midst of it, he got scared because it started going higher.
Yeah.
And his dad was like, take your time, breathe. And then he said, Dad, are you going to be disappointed in me if I don't make it to the top? And Dad said, are you going to be disappointed in yourself if you don't make it to the top?
Oh, that was a good answer.
He said, do your right foot, your left foot, your right hand with your right hand, your right foot with your left hand, and
He
keep on.
talked him through it.
And guess what? He made it. And then when he went to the top, he felt so good, so overjoyed about it.
Right.
And they were upset about that because they didn't let him make his own choice.
The psychologist was?
No.
The other parents
the
were.
other parents were. Then they had to make a meal. They had to make a meal. And their meal, and this is for the high achiever, it was meatballs and spaghetti.
Okay.
He didn't even know how to turn the oven on. He didn't know how to turn the stove on.
The kid
The
didn't?
kid didn't.
He didn't teach the boy how to cook?
No, he does all the cooking and everything.
Mm.
He lets him focus, which I can't be mad because believe it or not, as well as I cook now, I never cooked
As a kid?
as a kid. No,
I was making pie crust from
No.
scratch in middle school.
no.
Can't remember how to do it now.
Oh,
But I
I
was
tell
doing
you.
that in middle school.
Boiled butter and some flour.
There
Oh,
you go.
And some hot water. Yeah, I mean, I can cook now, but back then I didn't do no cooking. My grandparents told me my only job is to go to school and bring good grades out. That was it. It wasn't
My list
nothing
was a
else.
little longer.
Nope, I didn't do any
Not much
chores.
longer, but what?
I didn't do chores, and I never got spanking. I told you that before. I never got a spanking as a
Dude, you was
child.
kind of spoiled.
Yeah, I was raised like an only child though, but I really
Mhm.
wasn't an only child. But I was raised as an only child.
You was kind of
Yeah,
spoiled.
all my husband said that too.
Mhm.
But so then he helped him because the child was supposed to be making the meal all by himself, but it was only one of him.
A kid that didn't know how to turn the stove on.
Then wait a minute, you should have seen him with the hand can opener. He had it open, trying to open up the can of tomato sauce. It was so funny, but he walked him through it, and he made it be like it was something that they were doing together. 'Cause he was
Uh-huh.
like, "This stove is hot," and he was
Yeah.
like, "If you do the meatballs, mix the meat up, do the meatballs,
See, I like the
roll it
quality
up."
time in it.
Yes,
The cooking
And I
is
will
about
cook it.
quality time.
but they didn't want it to be like that. They wanted them to be hands off and let them do it. And guess what the high achiever says? If I had been hands off, my son would have failed. I do not teach failure. We can pull together and we can succeed with everything.
Which is how he helped him through the rock climbing.
Exactly.
So
But the
he's
other ones-
supportive. He's a
very
supportive
supportive
parent.
father. Okay, and the last one with them was they had to switch roles.
Okay.
And he could not, like I was telling my granddaughter, I'm like, he should have pulled back so he could have seen how his son views him.
Right.
But he couldn't pull back because the son was like, I'm the daddy. I'm finna eat candy at 9 o'clock in the morning. And the daddy was like, do you really think that's a great choice? Wait a minute, you're the little boy, you're not the daddy.
Right.
So, I mean, that was the only
So
one
they
that I
did a
didn't like.
role play.
Yeah,
like,
they did a role play. They switched roles. Yeah.
Okay. Who did the psychologist? I know we need to hurry,
I
but
told
I'm
you this was gonna be
curious.
Really good.
Who did the psychologist view as being the most effective, healthiest parent?
I've only seen 3 episodes. He still gives it to all of them. And then the eight parents. Okay, so it's 4 parents that be in a hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to do experiments with their children.
Okay.
And then the other 8 parents. The other 8 parents vote. And out there 4, only 3 moves to the next round.
Oh, they are eliminating each other.
Yes.
So it's
but
a
they
competition.
Don't go. Yeah, but they don't go anywhere because they're still in the 8 parents that has to vote on the rest of them. They're just not in the runnings for them.
Okay, so they're
they-
still present and
Mhm.
one.
And what I
have to
really
watch
like
this.
about it is that they have a book, so they're able to to make notes and stuff
Right.
of what's going on. Yeah.
Is this a show that would be good for some of my parents to watch?
Yes, most definitely.
But I don't want them picking up bad habits. Because if one of my parents
It is some
make
bad
their
habits.
kids study for 3 hours and their kid is gifted, and in middle school
They're-
at the age
They
of
did
6, I'm going to be
speak
mad.
that. They did speak on that though. They did speak on that. But here go the negotiator. Here go the negotiators was really funny.
Okay.
There were 2 Asian parents.
Whooping kids. Were they
They
whooping?
no, they did not whoop.
Okay.
They didn't
good.
whoop. And the baby was 6.
Okay.
And he had to cook. He was making a salad and pizza. And he was like, "Oh, I get the cut." So he went into the drawer and pulled out the biggest knife. I was rolling. I was rolling on the floor. He pulled out the biggest knife and was like, "Chuck it!"
Oh my goodness. Was he able to cook? He didn't know how to cook.
No, he didn't know how to cook either.
Did any of these kids know how to cook?
Yes. The freelancers, I think. These are the ones that's in the RV.
They live in an RV?
Yeah, they live in an RV.
Wow.
They swoop up their family. Mom had anxiety real bad. It was just too much going on. So they live in an RV. They get homeschooled. They literally has no type of socialization. But then mom says that it's a whole community that do this out here.
Van life. Have you heard of van life?
Yes, we was talking about that a couple of years ago. Remember?
Yeah, because a friend of mine wanted to do it. And
Right.
you the one that told me that I shouldn't have had a negative reaction to her wanting to do
Yes.
van life, and I was like,
It was just
somebody gonna kill her. She by herself in a van.
But the
I've noticed some van life people at the gym also.
Really?
Yes, because that's where they shower. So they pay for gym memberships. They ain't in there working out probably at all. But if you pay for a gym membership at an all-night gym, you can live in your van and shower at the gym. And so I've noticed some vans in the parking lot at the gym. They don't have windows or any of that because for their privacy, but like that's their little apartment on wheels, and they shower and all that in the middle of the night. I can understand a RV. I can handle that better than a van.
Those RVs are expensive as I don't know what.
Yes, so these
My
people
friend
got some
has an
money.
RV. He's a biker, and I seen the price. It was like $250,000.
Oh, they're high. They're high.
And they have a nice one.
Yeah, they are. There are RVs that have a compartment that slides out that holds a full-size sports car.
They have a truck that they put on the back.
Okay, so they're pulling their vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh, yeah, they get really expensive. And so for that
And
family,
it's 4 children that lives in there, and a mom and dad.
well,
So it's
how many
6 people.
bedrooms does it have? It might have 2-3
It
bedrooms.
just might, because it's only 1 girl and 3 boys, so they only need 3 bedrooms.
I actually think that would be fun. If they, problem with
One people said, yeah, that'd be fun, only on vacation.
Yeah. Well, the problem with van life with kids is, they can socialize with the other families because, they go to the RV parks and they park and there's kids there. Most of those kids are only there for vacation. They're probably not living it, but it's a lot of broken relationships because they're not going to have time to build relationships with anybody, which puts them at risk for having attachment disorder.
But now cell phones.
Yeah, but you driving across the country making friends that you ain't ever gonna see again.
But they might. Because they driving around the country, they might bump back up into each other like 11 months down the line.
That's true.
And then they get to keep in touch because they have cell phones.
I think kids need regular,
Most
consistent, ongoing socialization.
Yeah, like when my granddaughter was forced to do homeschool in 3 years, like the doctor would not let, because she has chronic asthma, and he didn't want her back into the schools, and she really, really suffered with the socialization part of it. Because she's like her honey. Yeah, she's very social, and even though she was going to dance, it just wasn't enough to feed her.
Right.
And when she got to be in 6th grade, I literally went to the doctor's appointment. Was like, she has to have that, or we're going to have problems. I am a master's level social worker. I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
He said, okay, Miss Head, yeah, she need to go back. And she have only been sick a couple of times. That's not too bad.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to watch this show
Yes.
because it sounds good. That sounds like a good reality show. So I'm gonna have to check
really
that out.
I enjoyed it. And,
Okay.
and Drea said that we're going to bleach watch once a week.
That's good.
She and I.
Because y'all having quality time. You do well with your grandbaby. Okay, here's my check-in. Because, me and Sashi, we got our own reality show.
Y'all really do.
So, my baby at 3, she be in the kitchen, okay, making everything from scratch. My baby, she baking cakes, pies, making dinners. So the cooking, we own that. She loves cooking, okay? She goes and gets the step stool, pushes it up to the KitchenAid mixer. She pours, she know how to pour stuff. She got her little apron. She got her little apron. She
gets dressed up for everything. Her hat.
Her little hat. Yes. And so the cooking is down. I tried to introduce her to fixing. And we talked about that, because we get hair clogs in the sink from all my hair to be clogging up the sink.
I know. It's all your hair.
So these two people got so much hair that I have to undo the pipes at the bottom under the sink
Oh,
and
I'm gonna bring you some
everything
commercial stuff.
to
You should use at the bar.
um
Y'all
it
put
won't
in a bottle.
damage the pipes, will it?
But it gets it on, cut on, and it's all natural.
Oh, then I need that.
Yeah, because I can't handle smells that mess with my asthma.
Okay. And so I said, well, I need my baby to know how to do more than just cook. She need to be able to fix some stuff because
Lord.
she got hair down to her butt, so she's going to have a lifetime of hair clogs. Well, she wasn't playing that. She's like, I'll play with this toolbox, but all of what that looks nasty, and I'm not doing it. So it didn't go well.
She's prissy. That's good.
And so we moved on. And so we had bought some material and taken it to a seamstress to have our shades. We have roller shades that have material on them. It's basically like curtains, but it's material. But whoever owned our house before us had to be at least 135 years old because it's this hideous, ugly print, floral print, and it's got to go. And so the people, they charge $40 a shade, and they put them on there wrong. Okay, the first couple of ones we dropped off, and so of course that made me mad, and I said, "We gonna do it ourselves." So I got online, and I bought a sewing machine.
Everything is YouTube. You do not mean that
Do it
YouTube can
yourself.
do it. No, this
is a DIY project.
No. Okay, come on, JP. Let me finish hearing about this.
I ordered the sewing machine.
Mm.
Mind you, I don't know nothing about sewing
And
machines.
you didn't know the thread.
I watched the video that showed how you threaded everything. So that's going to be our next project because the sewing machine showed up. Now, when Nadine saw that sewing machine, she immediately said, I am not helping with this. Because I bought it. It came with this little pedal thing. They got little pedals. You push the pedal in the Yeah. They all come with that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so I was like, well, this is going to be fun because Sashi, she'll get to push the pedal and I'll pull the material through. Like, there's no way we can't figure out how to do this. Me and my baby, we going to figure it out. My wife I hate sewing. I ain't going nowhere near that. Don't call me to help with that. Woman, you helping us with this because we clearly going to need some help because...
I think I'm going to come over and help JP, you guys, because I do a little sewing. I'm going to come over and help. I think you should have went with something a little bit simpler, like make some pillows first.
Pillows?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to experiment by making some curtains. Because I bought some other material that I paid like $100 and something for that's just going to waste. I can't take it back because I lost the receipt.
And you cut it.
I didn't cut it or anything, but I don't have a receipt. So I'm like, what do we do with this material? Like, because the material's expensive.
It sure is. I know. I spent over.
I used a debit card.
They can pull it up and do that. I spent over $800 on material for my wedding dress.
Oh,
my last wedding dress.
It's for 2 shades. It's like $150 worth of material, and we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 of these to do. And so it's...
Why you just can't do something else? That's the only thing that can go up there?
Well, they're material. Oh, well, we could do something else, but what else would you do? Like curtains?
Some regular shades. I mean, I have cloth shades in my living room.
It's cloth shades.
Yeah, they're red. They're cloth red shades in my living room.
Blinds?
Mm-hmm,
or
blinds. And they roll up. I have to roll them up like that.
Where'd you get them? Send me some pictures. Okay. Because...
And they were a little costly, but I only needed 2. But yeah, they were a little... And they have
like 11 of these.
Wait, they have last forever. I've been in my home for 19 years, and I think I put them up like 15 years ago. I have a little duster that I dust them off and everything.
Send me that information.
Okay.
But I need for my baby to be well-rounded. Okay, I need her to know how to put stuff together, how to cook stuff, how to fix
she's not
stuff,
messing with the
how
sink.
to sew, all of that. And we didn't get no.
But she can quit soccer at any given time.
I was like, she don't want to be here. Can we leave? My wife's like, no.
You didn't want to be there either.
I did. I was tired.
Exactly.
It's my one day off, and we got to get up early in the morning on the
Sundays.
one day off. Yeah. So I was like, Sashi's not
Should've been in
enjoying
church
herself.
anyway.
We should have been. It's on Sunday. It's during church.
Mm-hmm. They're wrong for that.
Next will be the dance class you sent us to. All right, mental health and illness in the news.
That's all we're gonna get done today.
Apparently, because
The
D,
parent test was very important. It was
the D, but we're gonna go deeper into that parent test, okay? Because that is psychological. So I'm glad we covered that. Okay, mental health and illness in the news. I want to wrap up. This was gonna be the faster story. Our neuroscience, neuroplasticity. Check this out. I kind of breezed over this. For those of you who missed the previous episodes, they're on Facebook. They're in little clips. You don't have to watch the whole show. But what I discovered is that since I graduated, they came out with all this new information on our brain, and that our brain does not have to deteriorate as we get older. We can actually engage our brain and continue to build.
oh goodness.
We covered yawning too, D, but you trying to be
Yawning
funny.
helps.
Yawning does, that's a part of brain plasticity. We not talking about yawning today,
okay.
D. Okay. And so this is important, partly because I'm over 50 and I'm trying to prevent dementia. And actually, at the time my mother passed away, she was in the early stages of Alzheimer's.
And everyone know that dementia is curable. Every letter in the word dementia, remember my focus.
It's also a little preventable. That's
yeah,
what
it
we're
is.
doing.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Remember my focus was the aging
Mm-hmm.
and my social work track. So yeah,
Okay.
every letter in dementia has something to do with it.
I
The
need you to
diet,
talk about
exercise.
curing it, because
Oh.
nobody really knows anything about that, and so that's good. But this is our final installment on this. I'm gonna give this information. This is very important for you viewers who have aging parents. Here is something simple you can do
Simple.
to prevent them from, their brain from deteriorating. I touched on this a little bit, but I researched it further and came up with more information. This is the one most effective approach, which is being around and interacting with other people. Now, Mr. Walker has put up, can everybody see that, what Mr. Walker has put up?
You gotta see that frontal. That's what we always talk about in the front.
Yes. So check this out. This is how you can help your aging parents to, basically, the brain is like a muscle. You either exercise it so that it
Use it or
builds
lose it.
strength, or it's going to become weaker and weaker and weaker. And so, simple thing you can do with your aging parents. They need to be around and interacting with other people. Okay? And so, this author, here's the book, The Neuroscience of Memory by Sherry All, PhD, Dr. Sherry All. Can y'all see that?
In front of you.
Can they see that now?
Right there.
Oh yeah, that's good.
But I done gave the title. Okay? And this is what she says. I encourage people to get this book because it has 7 skills that you can use to basically stimulate your brain and prevent yourself from developing dementia, which is important. Okay, now let's talk about this, having your elderly people interact, because as people get older, they get to the point where they don't really want to go out much. They stop going to see their friends, going here. They're able to watch church online, so they're not actually going to church. They become more and more isolated, which is not healthy for the brain.
Not at all.
They need to be interacting with people. And so Even the act of having a simple conversation activates pretty much your whole brain. So take a look at this picture that Mr. Walker has up. When you have a conversation, as we are having right now, you're listening and learning new things. So the language and memory centers in your temporal lobe are activated. Okay? And so the temporal lobe in this picture, that's the pink that you see on the screen. All right? You're processing visual cues from gestures and body language from the person that you're talking to, which activates your occipital and parietal lobes. That's the yellow. So the yellow is the parietal. The occipital is what you see in blue. So you working all that out, okay? As you're talking to somebody, this is something that me and Stacy D do all the time. We reminisce on here, talk about the D when she used to drop it like it was hot, although she still drops it like it's hot periodically. But we'll reminisce about her days in the contest and dropping it like it's hot. When we do that, pulling up memories, speaking, being nice, waiting your turn to speak, and planning what you want to say activates your frontal lobe, your and prefrontal cortex.
Biggest part of the brain.
And that's the one we talk about on the show all the time. Because that's where all your intelligence is, okay? So the frontal lobe, the front of the brain, that's the part you all see in red. You're connecting emotionally and processing and regulating emotional cues, activating your amygdala, and other structures of the brain that's related to empathy. And so when you are having a conversation and with your aging parents, when they go to, like if you're using a day nursing center, I'm not saying put them in a nursing home, but there are day nursing daycare
programs.
Yeah, those day programs.
Day programs because they're not children, so they can't go to daycare. So we call them day programs.
Yeah, and I usually call them day nursing centers instead of daycare.
Don't say nursing.
Because it makes people think about nursing home.
I'm telling you the correct word.
Okay.
Day program. This is
day program.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing about that is they can play games and card games, they're interacting, they're making friends, and all of that is exercising every part of the brain. So when it comes to keeping your brain fully functioning and increasing its functionality, this is something that you need to do.
And then in some day programs, they will keep the news on one of their TVs all day long, just so they can see CNN and see what's going on.
Because that stimulates.
Yes,
the news. And so here's something else that you do with your friends. And D, I know you do most of these things. Hanging out with friends, planning outings together, like when we plan to get together, picking a restaurant, exploring new parts of town, friends that you travel with. All of these are things that also stimulate the brain. Okay? Plus, friends make really great external memory aids. So when you reminisce with friends, you are re-encoding memories, and that helps stimulate the brain. So friends need to get together and reminisce about the good old days. It actually helps your brain. Now, here's what's interesting that I did not know. Even people who complain about their friends all the time still benefit from having conversations with them. If you have aging parents who all they do is complain about their friends, and you're thinking, why are you still talking to them? Why are you continue? Let's just cut them out. Don't be too quick to cut them out, because the research has shown that your level of satisfaction in your social network actually matters less than the amount of socializing that you do. Even people who complain about their friends still have a lower risk for developing dementia than people who don't have friends at all. So the old people who get cantankerous and they arguing and bickering and complaining about their friends. She had the nerve to say this, and I know she didn't. I don't know who she thought she was even talking to. I don't know.
Well, they need to keep on coming.
They need to keep having them kind of friends that even though they're agitated with them, those friends are saying things that are upsetting them, and it causes their brain to start working because they start thinking about how they're going to retaliate and say this and how they said this and that was wrong and that ain't even what happened 25 years ago. And do not weed those old people out of your parents' lives because even those arguments are helping their brain.
Do you know what's something about JP? Do you know that's literally how social workers got started?
Tell me, then. Tell me.
Social work.
Well,
It was
they don't consider me to be a real
No,
one though,
you're
because
not a
I'm
real
clinical.
social- 'cause you're more clinical.
So I
That's
didn't
it.
know.
Okay,
this.
so if everybody want to know the difference between JP and Stacy.
The D's are ride or die.
I'm a ride or die social worker, and he's more of he's a straight clinician. That's the difference.
And in school, they literally
It's a
acted like
difference.
we were not one of them. And
Yeah.
even a professor made a very negative comment about those of us who are clinicians and said, you need to go study psychology. We study in social work, clinical, so suck it up and deal with us.
Yeah. But in the late 1800s, the nuns were our first social workers.
Okay.
Because they seen that it was a need for the aging, and they would be isolated in the home. So even way back then, they understood that you had to have that socialization part to stay healthy. So they were called friendly sitters. So these group of nuns, these
Listen
group of
to the
nuns
D.
would
The
come-
D is a ride or die social worker. Because I don't know none of this. Look, I don't know none of this. This ain't got nothing to do with therapy.
He was just wondering about the diagnosing
Therapy.
everybody. I'm gonna ding ding ding. You're diagnosed.
Oh my God.
You're diagnosed.
Okay, this is the administrative track of social work that the D is presenting, which is so different from the clinical. So tell me this, because I didn't know this.
Yes, so they knew that they had way back then. This is the 1800s when they knew that socialization was good for the mind and to keep them
Hence the
healthy.
term social work.
Yes.
Mhm.
Be quiet. So these nuns, they were literally the first social worker were the nuns, and they would go out and just go from home to home to home, just visiting with them for
With the
hours at
elderly.
a time with the elderly and the sick and shut in. Going back to the church.
Ooh, the sick and the shut in.
And we'll go and visit with them and bring them baskets of food and things of that nature and make sure that they were okay in their home. So it was,
Wow.
yeah, they was on their way back then.
Okay. This is good. Was it called social work?
No, but
What was it called?
I just told you they were friendly sitters.
Oh, that was the name of the service.
That was the name of the service, the friendly sitters, and they were all nuns though. They were all nuns.
Interesting. Okay, so the D just schooled y'all on the origins of social
Of
work.
social work.
And we needed to do that because on the show, 95% of what we cover is clinical. The clinical social work, which is therapy. Clinical social work, clinical psychology, clinical marriage and family therapy, clinical counseling. And it's really because I do not know about I don't know about
He
like
never worked no
regular
place
social work.
but the mental health center and what was it? It was Now's
The
home.
treatment center.
Yeah, treatment
Correct.
centers. I did 5
I
years
never
at
did
one at
social work.
SRS, the welfare office for 5 years.
Yeah, you've done
Yeah, I did that.
actual, and you worked for some
Cow
other
Valley.
people.
I
Yeah.
worked everywhere in Wyandotte County.
The D's are ride or die
Yeah.
social work.
Then I stopped at Wyandotte Mental Health Center. That's that part I had to have
To
bring
balance it out.
to bring it all together, and I did not like it.
You were good at it, dude.
But I didn't like it though.
You were good in that clinical setting, though.
Mm.
Them kids love the D.
Cause I was crazy, and I just was.
They love the D.
Cause we used to kick it, and I could like bring everything all around and have fun, and then bring it back to well, this is the meat and potatoes. But I
Right.
went all the way around the.
So
The
D,
block first.
you don't give up on clinical, D.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up on it.
Okay.
How much time we got?
Now.
He said now.
We are not gonna get to these things.
Oh, but I do want everyone to know. We're going to do that next week. But I do want everyone to know, because everyone knows that I only had 4 main goals that I was going to accomplish this year.
Oh yeah, give us an update.
Update on it is that I am down 10 pounds.
Good.
I mean, I hit my January goal and knocked it out the water.
Right.
And now I just have another goal that I need to lose 2 more pounds by the end of the month. So I'll let y'all know that on next Thursday. Because the month
By next
end-
week,
Yeah, I need to lose 2 more pounds
you
by.
can do it.
Yeah, it's easy. I need to lose 2 more pounds by Wednesday. So I'll let you guys know that I will let you guys know when I hit that goal.
Okay, really quick. We were debating something with the professor. You all missed it. The professor was in here talking about getting on the scale. And the professor was saying do not get on the scale every day because basically it can affect your psyche. I'm going to just sum up what he was saying. I think it's good to get on the scale every day because you are able to immediately assess the previous day's
Satisfaction.
food.
Yeah, immediately.
You
You
are
know
able
where
to
you
see
messed
what
up.
works and what does not work for you. Because I'm on the scale every day, so I'm
Every
able
day.
to identify this food makes me gain weight, this food makes me lose weight. So those are some reasons to weigh in every day.
Or if you didn't drink all your water. And I noticed that when I do not drink all my water,
Mm-hmm.
I will
You can
not
see it in the
lose.
scales.
I will sit on the scales. And I was like, oh my goodness, I got to. And I literally have it set that I have to drink this amount of water by 10 a.m.,
Because it
12
flushes
p.m.
out fat.
It takes a flood. Listen, everybody, the room temperature water, not cold. It like,
And I drink at room temperature.
yeah. It's like, oh my God, here go fat.
But I didn't
That's
know.
exactly what it does.
But I'm just drinking at room temperature because I don't have time to put some ice in there. Does it that's intentional. On
Intentional.
your-
That's what it is. Yes, intentional.
So cold water won't
It takes
work.
too long. It takes too long for the cold water to get into your system. Mind you, I think I lost my colon. I should have been a nutritionist. I done went to so many of them. Okay, but yeah, the cold water has to go in your body. Has to sit there
Uh-huh.
and sit there
Uh-huh.
until it warms up to your body temperature,
And then it starts working.
Then it starts working. But if you get it already warm, it's just gonna come right on through, and it's gonna grab some fat particles and just
Grab that fat.
just grab it fat and go. Fat. We're gonna. Can I say pee?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna just pee it on out of you. You gotta be peeing like a racehorse.
Okay, so I need to now intentionally drink room temperature water. Perfect.
Yeah,
Because I already,
half your body weight. If you can get in half your body weight, you will most definitely see a difference.
What?
Half
What?
your body weight.
What do you mean?
Like if you weigh 200 pounds, you need at least drink 100 ounces of water a day.
Oh, okay. You scared the hell out of me and Mr. Walker. I was like, who's drinking 100 pounds of water? That a kid.
Is that what I said?
Well, you said half your body weight.
Yeah,
In
half your
ounces,
body-
though.
In ounces, yeah.
Okay, I can
And
handle
I'm
that.
telling
I
you,
can.
Weight loss is all, and you guys, and I've been eating sort of good too. I've been eating steak and potatoes, and I'm just eating it earlier in the day. I cut off everything at 6.
I eat my bad food early.
Yeah, eat your bad food and
Mhm.
drink even a little bit more water.
Okay.
And
All right. I think we are good for today. I'll cover these diagnoses next week.
Next
Thank
week,
you
be
all for
ready.
joining us. And remember,
Okay.
worry about
Right
nothing.
there in just a second.
and try not to listen to your engineer because he had you messed up, and you just have to pray for him about everything that he do to try to make it right. So let's pray about everything.
We need everybody to pray for Mr. Walker.
Look at he heard me took us off air.